A very cool Parsha because you almost think you're going to get a glimpse at what it's like at the end of days, because Yaakov, he's about to die. He calls his sons together and he says, come together, assemble yourselves, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you at the end of days. And then he doesn't tell them anything. It's a real secret. So what happened? And the Chazal says that the Shekhinah left him, so he lost his Ruach HaKodesh, but there's actually a textual hint as to what he's telling them. So when a word shows up one time in Tanakh, it's called a hapax legomenon. I love that term, but I don't know what it's called when something happens one time in the text. Maybe the rabbi would tell me, but there is the only time in the Torah there's no gap between Parshas Vayechi and Parshas Vayigash. Is that correct? I believe so. So you can't see it. So except when you're looking at Tikkun, there's a little symbol that says the Parsha starts here. So why is that happening? So there's this notion that between silence and speech is faith. And speech meaning like the truth of something. I read this from a rabbi, I don't know his first name because he writes his books, Rabbi M. Miller, and you can't find his first name anywhere, from the 1960s in England. And he says that Yaakov was known as the man of truth. Titen met Yaakov, and he wanted to give his children over the truth of what Acharit Haimim would be, but he knew that they were starting now this the time in Mitzrayim. They were going to be there for a couple of hundred years, and so he couldn't tell them truth because the problem was they were going to live in this slavery period for the next couple of hundred years. So this Rabbi Miller says that between the silence of saying nothing and the absolute truth that Yaakov knew is this big window of something that he calls faith, and emunah, and he had to give his children this strength of faith. And so the reason that there's no gap in the Torah is because the Chazal says that the white space between each of the paragraphs was time that you had to think about things and absorb what God was telling you. There's nothing to think about here. Emunah it's not an intellectual exercise. You either have it or you don't have it. So what Yaakov tells his children, the secret, he says, to what faith will be, is he tells them about the family. And he says, each of you, your 12 sons, you have different strengths and different weaknesses, but the one thing that's going to bind you together and keep you through the next 200 years is the fact that you're a family. And the unity of the family is what's the secret to getting out of this next 200 years of a prison. So you should have a good week. You should look for opportunities for unification. And that's it.